Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and lay out the notches for my top board where the barrels of the rifles will kind of nestle into the rack. And what I'm going to do is just mark up an inch here on this side. An inch on this side. And use my straight edge to mark across those 2 points. I'm gonna use a 1.5 inch circle saw to cut the holes in the center here to get my radius, and then I'm gonna cut out the straight parts with a jigsaw probably. If you don't have a circle saw, you can use a spade bit, a 1.5 inch spade bit, or something like that to accomplish the same thing. And if you don't have a jigsaw, just use what you got, hacksaw, whatever, will do the trick. So now that I got my line marked across there, I'm going to start laying out the points where I actually am going to drill my holes. Now the first one should be in, gotta consult my plans here, in 2 1/4. So I'll make a mark here at 2 1/4. And then after that it's just every 3 inches. And here's going to be in 2 1/4 as well. But if you go every 3 inches, your last mark should fall at 2 1/4. Now I'm just gonna drill with my 1.5 inch circle saw. I'm going to drill out all these marks and then take my jigsaw and just zip a straight line across each one to make that notch there for the top of the gun rack. Alright, so now we got all of our holes cut into it. Gonna go ahead and take the jigsaw and, well, first I take my square and draw a line, but gonna just cut down here, and cut this section out. Do that for every one of them, and we'll have our notches cut out for it. Alright, now we got the notches all cut cut out, our next move here is going to be to sand everything down, get the corners nice and smooth and ready to assemble. For most of the pieces, I'm just going to use a orbital sander, but for these notches right here, I'm going to go ahead and use my oscillating spindle sander. So if you don't have one of those, no big deal. You can do it by hand or make something work. It's just the spindle sander makes things go a little bit faster. But use what you got. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and hit up all these pieces with the orbital sander real quick. I'm just going to hit the cut edges and knock down any corners. Honestly, I probably should have changed the blade on my table saw before I did this project. So they're a little bit rough, but oh well, we'll hit it up with the sander and try and take care of those, and also try and get rid of these pencil marks. When you're using a spindle sander like this, there's a couple of important things. One is to keep your sandpaper clean. I'm using, I believe it's 120 grit here. Yeah, 120 grit here, which is about as fine as it comes for spindle sanders like this. And they tend to get clogged up really quickly, especially for finer grits like this. So use some of this wax like this, comes in a plastic, wrapped in plastic, and you just turn your machine on and put the wax up to it, and it cleans your sandpaper out. And it's important to do that. I've been doing it about every notch or so. Whenever I move on to the next one, I just go ahead and clean that out. And the other thing that's important is to keep it moving. Keep your workpiece moving. Because if you leave the workpiece in one area too long, if you let it sit in there, it'll gouge it out pretty quickly and you'll have a mess to fix. So just get it started and keep it going. Don't hang in one spot.